Hey guys, long time no see. It has certainly been a while. I'm sure some of you out there have wondered where I've been, but I think the majority of you probably managed to go on with your life, didn't skip a beat, didn't give a damn. Listen, I know if I disappeared from my house for 3 or 4 weeks, my wife wouldn't have given a damn either, so I understand. Now, if you had taken her favorite video poker machine away from any casino, now that would have ticked her off. That's just the way it is. But it's been an interesting sojourn here over the past month or so. My son got married, so I have a new addition to my family. It's so funny saying I now have a daughter-in-law, a welcomed addition, to say the least. Had some health issues had to take care of as well. But, of course, I also was watching the New Orleans Saints book their trip to the Super Bowl. What? The Saints aren't going to this? Oh, I'm sorry. The Saints aren't going to the Super Bowl. Oh, by the way, I hope you visited my site the other day. I hope you watched or happened to read my little diatribe about how Roger Goodell and the word integrity, that word should never be uttered from Roger Goodell's mouth ever again. I'm so sick over the years of hearing Roger Goodell talk about the integrity of the game. From the Tom Brady and New England Patriots Deflategate incident, from every time when the ugly NFL domestic violence incidents rear their ugly head, when the Supreme Court was reconsidering opening the floodgates and taking away Nevada's ridiculous monopoly on gambling when it came to professional sports and specifically the NFL, and then eventually when the Supreme Court ruled last May to do so. Every time that word integrity was uttered by Goodell, it's just a farce. And you saw it again on Sunday. Let's overlook the fact that the wrong team is playing in the Super Bowl. But listen, we talk about gambling and leagues, and particularly Goodell and the NFL, all these years, their anti-gambling stance because gamblers can negatively influence the game. Yes, because, they're going to fix games because NFL players are going to accept $10,000 bribes, right, to fix games. How ridiculous, right? There's not enough money to get a player in this day and age because of the salaries to fix a game. That's just ridiculous, okay? But we talk about the evils, or they talk about the evils of gambling and how it would affect the integrity of the game. However, the league itself affected the integrity of the game because they were half-assed in terms of using artificial intelligence. And what I mean by that is using instant replay to make sure that the game was officiated correctly. Human beings are infallible. You saw it. You see it every single game. But to have a game in that critical juncture and not have the ability to turn to instant replay at that critical juncture is just ridiculous. Listen, you're either entirely pregnant or you're not pregnant. You can't be half-assed pregnant. And that's what the instant replay system is in the NFL. I'm sorry. And you know it as well as I do. And you saw finally it rear its ugly head with that non-instant replay reviewed call. I find it so funny that the networks that pay all these millions and millions of dollars to get the rights to the NFL games have their officials on payroll. Hey, let's go to Mike to get a review of that play. They have officials and ex-referees on their payroll sitting there either in New York studios or in the booth ready to review and get their opinions on controversial calls. But there we had the call that decided which team is going to the Super Bowl. But more importantly, forget that. And if you're a Saints fan, you can't forget that, right? But think about the millions of dollars gambled on that game, wagered on that game, that went and was paid off to the wrong side because the NFL blew the game, blew the call. That's the integrity of the game that I'm talking about in this particular instance. And that's ridiculous. That's the focal point. You can't talk out of both sides of your mouth. Or in this case, you can't talk out of your mouth and your ass at the same time about the integrity of the game when it applies to gambling, when you aren't willing to talk the talk and walk the walk. And Roger Goodell hasn't. And that's, from my viewpoint, as a guy who has been in the gambling industry for the last 25 years, but started his career as a writer who covered the sport for 9 years, and all other sports as well. You can't have it both ways. No integrity. Anyway, I feel better now, but, what a shame. I mean, okay, it's nice to have the Rams, and we'll hear all the Sean McVay stories in the next couple of weeks. Oh, Sean McVay, boy genius. But I wanted to see Drew Brees and Tom Brady, 2 future Hall of Famers. I wanted to see that storyline. Or I wanted to see Patrick Mahomes going up against Drew Brees. 2 high-powered offenses. I wanted to see that story. I didn't want to see the Rams playing the Patriots. I'm sorry. That is the least of the favorable matchups that I wanted to see. And we shouldn't have seen that, except that the NFL blew it. So there you go. Okay, let's talk about couple of complimentary plays here for tonight's games. I'm going to go with Nevada, minus the 19 points at home. You know I've ridden Nevada frequently this season. Nevada, a 19-point favorite. This is a team that's 9-0, playing in Reno this season, 18-1 overall. They've won 12 straight, dating back to the last season at the Lawler Event Center. By the way, Reno is a really nice little town to visit. If you go to Las Vegas, you can take a flight on Southwest. You'll be there in like 44 minutes flight time. I wouldn't go there in the winter time. It's not my cup of tea. Although, if you like skiing, once you go to Reno, you're only a 45-minute drive to Lake Tahoe, which is great if you're into skiing and all that other stuff. But summertime is a beautiful time to visit Reno. So there you are as an official spokesman of the Reno Tourism Bureau. But a great little place to go. You can be around Reno, drive the entire circumference of Reno, and visit all the casinos in downtown area Reno in about 20 minutes. It's a nice little town. Just a little FYI there. Anyway, they're coming off a 67-52 home win over Air Force on Saturday. That was preceded after 2 road wins the week prior, where they managed to hold on to beat Boise State 72-71 and took care of business in a 10-point win at Fresno State. They've now won 4 in a row since their lone loss of the season when they got shellacked in Albuquerque by the Lobos of New Mexico. Rams, meanwhile, are coming off a 15-point loss at Utah State on Saturday. Listen, I'm going to go here with Nevada. This is a team, however, I will admit to you, that they have gotten off to some horrendous slow starts playing at home this season. Then the second half starts and they just light up the scoreboard. Tonight, however, it's a big occasion in Reno. This is their Pink Out game. Which is an organized game to benefit breast cancer. This is also a big game for their head coach, Eric Musselman, who is going for win number 100 since taking over the Wolfpack. You look at the KenPom stats, which I use KenPom.com extensively when I'm handicapping college basketball. In terms of the overall ranking, you've got KenPom listing Nevada as the 19th best team in the country overall. You've got Colorado State down at 207. When I look at the adjusted offensive and defensive efficiency ratings, and again, that's points per 100 possessions. When I look at these two teams, offensively, you give Nevada a 6.2 point edge per 100 possessions. Defensively, they have a 17.1 edge. You add that up, and one of my little, there's so many numbers at KenPom, but those two numbers, when I use those numbers, I get a differential 24.1 points. I've got a 19-point line here tonight. That gives me a 5.1 differential in Nevada's favor, and that's why I'm willing to lay the points with Nevada. The other play I'm going to go with tonight is Marquette. Listen, I have not lost with the Golden Eagles at home this season. I'm not betting this game, but I do like Marquette once again here tonight, minus 8.5 points against DePaul. I know DePaul has played some good games. I know DePaul's coming off a 97-93 win at Seton Hall on Saturday. But the Golden Eagles are coming off a 79-68 win over Providence on Sunday, a game that I thought about pulling the trigger early in the day before the conference championship games, but there was some question whether or not Marcus Howard was going to play because he was suffering from a minor back injury. He played well, had 24 points, had like 8 rebounds as well. Golden Eagles have won 5 straight since losing to St. John's back on January 1st. They've all been conference wins since then. This DePaul team, you never know what you're going to get. Yeah, they won at Seton Hall, but in the game prior, they lost at home to Butler, and they lost badly by 18 points. And yet, Their prior road game, they won at St. John's. There's no rhyme or reason with the Blue Demons. But again, when I go to KenPom, Marquette, 34th in the country in terms of the overall ranking. DePaul, 110. Marquette at home is just an offensive dynamo. They have 3 good scoring options. This is a team that can put plenty of points on the board. I don't think DePaul can hang with them on the road, and that's why I'm willing to lay the 8.5 points with Marquette in this game as your other complimentary play. That'll do it. I wish you well, guys, and we will talk soon. I can't promise I'll be back tomorrow. I doubt that I will because I'm traveling again, but good luck anyway, and I'll talk to you relatively soon here on the video. Good luck, everyone.